بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب زدني علما.
So the next thing we'll try to see one troubleshooting ticket with IPv6 static routing. So if you remember in the previous videos, we have seen what are the things we need to check with the static IPv6 routes. So basically two things, whether you may have some kind of incorrect static route configurations. So in the routing table, you may see a static route, but that might be shown incorrect, or you don't see the IPv6 static route at all. And according to those things, so we already discussed what are the things we need to check. Even if the static route is not appearing in the routing table, then mostly you need to check the next hop, whether it is reachable or not. So probably here I'll take one simple scenario, a troubleshooting ticket, where we'll try to use some specific show commands to understand what are the things we need to check if there is a problem. Like starting with understanding the problem here, you can see here, the problem says that you're trying to do some kind of traffic monitoring for the traffic which is destined from, which means this is my from, right, from here, and the traffic which is destined to this particular subnet. So when the traffic is going to from this source and to this destination, there are two possible routes. You can see there is one route where it goes from router 1 to 3, and then there is another route. Probably you can see that another route here. So another route from here as well, direct router 3. So according to the question says that the router 2 is traffic destined is going through router 2, where it should go directly from the router 3. So the question says that the actual traffic is going from this path, whereas it is supposed to go from the direct link which is connecting between router 1 and the router 3. So to start with this, we need to see, first we'll try to confirm what is the exact path the router 1 is using. So we start with something called traceat. So when you say traceat command, it will show you what is the actual path it is using. So according to this, you can see here, according to this, it's showing me the path. It's going to router 2. That's the first one. So this is router 1, and then going to router 2, and then to router 3. So which means there is a communication between these two LANs, but the issue is it should not use this path. It has to use this path. That's something we need to fix. So to start with, traceat confirms that the packet is going from R1 to R3, means most likely there is no reachability issues or WAN connectivity issues. So the next thing we'll try to see, okay, in the routing table, what is the actual entry it is going to make. So we can use show IPv6 route, or we can be more specific where I can say show IPv6 route, and you can type down the network ID with the prefix value. Then it will show you how the route is learned, and what is the administered distance, and what is the routing path it is using for that particular destination. So in my case, it is going via router 2. Now again, this confirms that there is no problem in the WAN on the other side. So now we'll try to see why it is not using this path. What is the reason behind it? So the next thing what I will do is I'll try to verify the configuration, because when it comes to the routing, so when we say that, okay, the router 1 is not using this path, means most likely there are two possible reasons. Maybe there is no static routing configured at all, or even if it is configured, it might be something like wrong misconfiguration. Maybe the next hop is invalid, or maybe there is a slash value misconfigured. Or if it is correctly configured, then most likely the next hop might not be reachable, because if this interface is down, then automatically it will not use that route. So there are multiple possibilities we need to check. And as per the configuration here, so the first we'll try to confirm the configuration as well, to confirm whether the static route is configured or not. If it is not configured, then we'll go ahead and configure and fix it here itself. If it is misconfigured, then we'll fix it here. And if there is some issue with the next hop and other things, we can verify the next hop reachability as well. So as per this output here, you can clearly see that for this particular destination, there are two static routes written. So both are having the same slash value, because if there is any mismatch of the slash values, then it will prefer the longest match. And there is a next hop address. So these are the next hop addresses. Both are configured. So one is going via router 2 and the other one is via router 3. And if you check the additional values, you can see there is administrative distance. So whenever a router is configured with multiple routings with the same prefix, then probably it is going to decide based on the administrative distance, whereas the least is more preferable in general. So in our case, the router 1 is configured with the AD value of 10 on this path. And the router 1 is also configured with a static route from this path with an AD value of 11. So in this case, as the same prefix, so it is going to prefer the least AD value, because the least is the more trusted routing. And that's what happening here. So if you try to see the issue with the administrative distance here, so as per our requirement, we want it should use this route, right? That's what I want. So we want to use this route. So which means the AD value of this should be lesser than the other one, which means the AD value here is 10. So we can make it something like anything less than 10, 9, 8, whatever the value you want, you can use. So to fix this, what we are doing is we are trying to change the AD value. So I can just go ahead and configure on the router 1 saying that, okay, for this specific static route, the same destination, we'll try to reconfigure this with the same next hop as it is. And we are just defining the AD value is 1. So you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, anything in between 1 to 9 is going to work. And once we do this, if you go ahead and verify with show IPv6 route, now you should see, or you can just use show IP route as well, because even if you say show IPv6 route, it will display all the entries. So if you want to be more specific, we can do like this. And now you can see this route is learned from static and the AD value is 1. That's what installed in the routing table. And now you can see it is going via router 3. So if you want to confirm the same, we can again go ahead and use traceroute or traceroute command in router or from the PC. In routers, it is traceroute. From the PC, we can use traceroute command. And with the help of traceroute, it shows that from the PC1, it now uses this route, the direct route, because this route is more preferable because of the least AD value. So in terms of troubleshooting, there are similar things in IPv4 and IPv6. So if you remember in IPv4 also, we have seen one troubleshooting ticket that is a little bit different from this, but the same rules will apply here as well.